welcome to Behind the Rings. My name is James Schickel, General Manager, Audi Arrowhead.
My name is Marisol. I'm a sales consultant here at Audi Arrowhead.
My name is Lacey and I'm an Audi brand specialist here.
My name is James, not Jared, and I am a retired Marine Corps Sergeant Major.
Appreciate your service, my friend.
Thank you.
So James is a longtime guest of ours. All right. What number Audi is this?
This is only the second one.
This is second Audi, so you just purchased a 2024 certified pre-owned A5 from us.
A5,
All
right.
right, loving it so far?
My wife is.
That's the most important thing, my friend.
Actually, it's the third. So
Third.
I bought her first for our anniversary in 2000. It was 2004 Audi A4.
Okay.
And this was, as you know, I'm a disabled combat veteran.
Yes,
So
sir.
getting in and out of the vehicle was really a struggle for me because it's so low.
Sure.
Saw this A5 that you turned me on when I was in here last week or the week before. Again, getting in and getting out, it's painful for me because it's so low, but she loves it, so as long as she's happy, that's all that matters. But
What we do
it's-
for love,
it's-
right?
Yeah, yeah, and then
Yes,
I'll
sir.
get into when you want to why I chose the Audi, but
Okay.
go ahead.
So you bought it for her anniversary? You guys'
So
anniversary?
the A4 was for her anniversary, the Q5 was just because I wanted her out of the Expedition, we had a Ford Expedition. And so got her out of that into the Q5, and I really loved it. And I can tell you right now, hands down, Audi across the board. I've test drove Lexus, I've test drove the BMWs, I've test drove the Mercedes, all the luxury vehicles, and by far the best German make vehicle, and the way it handles, and just I like the Q5 because the way it just made me feel when I could just slide in, slide out, very comfortable. All the Audis are very comfortable, but
Yeah.
like I said, the sedans are more lower, so a guy like me getting in and getting out, with a bad back and bad knees and all that, it's just, yeah, so this was the third one. So first one was for her anniversary, second one was just because, and then this one was for her birthday.
That's a great anniversary
So,
gift. Good
yeah.
for her. Awesome.
And this her birthday's in April, so we got this one because I don't know what he did, but he's like, what do you think about this one? I mean,
Yeah.
didn't come in here expecting to buy a vehicle. Came in here because we were servicing the Q5, so it was either okay, I dump money into an extended warranty, or I turn around and get into something and upgrade. And that's what we did. So
That's what we do best here.
yes, exactly. I have to stay away. And
Have to stay away.
in Auto Nation, I've been involved with Auto Nation for quite a few years because my brother is the director of security, Joe Reffner. So Auto Nation as a whole is where my exposure comes from him. But then the Audi connection, caveats off of that. So
How long was your brother with Auto
he's
Nation?
been with
Still
Auto
with
Nation. He
them?
still is. Yeah, he's the director of security.
Yes, sir.
So other than Audi, you have a big story. I went on your LinkedIn. I saw a little bit of information. You have a lot of history. A lot of different fields. I'm like investigator.
Yeah,
like whoa,
yeah.
that's a lot. So
Yeah.
what is a brief story of yours? Who are you? Where are you from?
My verbal bio. So
Yes.
so I grew up in upstate New York. I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. Two weeks out of high school, I joined the Marine Corps with 7 of my buddies. Signed up in the morning, left that afternoon, never looked back.
Wow.
I had a goal of just doing my 20 years in the Marine Corps and then becoming a police officer. That was my goal, but things didn't go that way. And I'm a firm believer if you have a plan, you need to have a backup plan. So in 1990, I wound up getting out of the Marine Corps because promotions were bottled up, and I transitioned over into what they call the reserve component, the reserve community, and that's when I started my second career. So I was working on both careers at the same time. I survived 3 combat tours in Iraq, so I did a total of 15 active duty years, 15 reserve years, 28 years in law enforcement. So when I retired from law enforcement and retired from the Marine Corps at the same time. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise,
Sure.
to be able to double tap those simultaneous careers. And then this year, I'll try not to get emotional, but this year, Veterans to Veterans, if you look at the logo, you see the number 2, it's hugging a V, so it's a veteran hugging a veteran. And the problem is that, the veteran community, we're tight knit, but everything seems to be a secret. Things, you don't get to really know what the benefits, services, or resources are out there unless you hear from another veteran. And sometimes the veteran that's passing the information might not have all the information. So when I retired from the Marine Corps and from law enforcement in 2010, I went to work for the California Department of Affairs, and I became a Southern California trainer. I was a subject matter expert in benefits, resources, and services for the veteran community. So I was out in 5 counties in Southern California training, the veteran resource centers at the colleges, going out to the various county veteran service offices, talking to the, various businesses. I had a legacy there where I stood up in LA County alone. I stood up 14 veteran collaborative organizations.
Yeah.
So basically it was, for example, I meet Jared and I say, Jared, you're into the veteran community, or you're a vet friendly type of business. Let me invite you to this monthly meeting. So it started out with 10 to where after my 7 years I had over 300 in LA County alone, veteran friendly service organizations that cater to the veteran community. So that was my legacy when I left California. I get out here and, I just wasn't really happy with, the lack of quantity of services, resources for the veteran community. So that's when I came up with the Veterans to Veterans. In the back, it says Veterans to Veterans, helping veterans one at a time. Because somebody said something to me one time, said, hey, Sergeant Major, you can't help all the veterans. Sure, I can, one at a time.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. And then it's getting people smarter on what benefits, services, and resources are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And every place I go, I always carry challenge coins and I hand them out to the veterans or a civilian that I really feel is worthy of getting a challenge coin from me, which it means a lot to get a challenge coin, but connecting the dots and getting people involved is very instrumental for me. And I don't charge the veterans for anything that I do. I help them with initial VA claims, disability claims. I help them with rating increases. So if a veteran files a disability claim, they may wind up getting 10%, 50%, whatever. So I help them get an increase in that. I help the widows when their spouse passes away, whether it's male or female. It's called widow survivor benefits. So when the spouse passes away, I help the surviving spouse pursue benefits that they're eligible for.
So are these benefits not easy for the people to find?
They're-
Is that
they're-
why
right.
you help people do
Right,
it?
they're
Because
not.
something very accessible.
Correct. Yeah, they're not easy to find because if you don't know where to look, it's
You don't
just
know what you don't
you don't
know.
know, right? You don't know. And the thing with me is I use me as basically a lab rat. I mean, for years I put myself through different things to get smart on what those benefits or services or resources were, so that I could speak intelligently about them to the veteran community as a whole. So, for example, they have what they call the VA caregiver program. A lot of veterans don't know about that. And if you're a disabled veteran, and all you need to have is a 0% rating, meaning the VA recognized, okay, you got a bum knee, it's not bad enough to where it's chronic, but we know it's going to get worse over the years, so we're going to give you a 0% rating. So a veteran only needs a 0% rating to be considered a disabled veteran in the VA's eyes. Well, they have a caregiving program to where the spouse or someone within the home can become that designated as that primary caregiver and get a monthly stipend for taking care of that disabled veteran.
Wow.
And then there's different tiers, so it's a very convoluted program, but it's there. Do people know how to go find it? No. VA.gov is a very big website. Well, where do you try to find that? So, if they don't know, then they're lost, and I can say it took me 17 years to realize that, holy crap, there's stuff out there that are for me, and most veterans are very humble and don't want anything. Perfect example, my dad, bless his heart, he passed away in 2017, but I remember back in 2012, whatever, 2013, going home to New York, I'm from upstate New York, and sitting down with him, and he's like, Dad, you get free glasses, you can get free hearing aids. Oh, I don't want anything from the VA. So each era has their own thing, and we're a humble species, so, if we're hurting, you ask me how I'm feeling, I'm going to tell you I'm doing fine. But in reality, I'm not doing fine, you know what I'm saying? So, you've got the PTSD issue for mental health awareness. You got all this stuff, Stop 22. I don't know if you're aware of this, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. Sure. Or what they call now is they're unaliving themselves. That's the proper way to say it. So, I myself, deal with post-traumatic stress disorder every day of my life. It's just a matter of learning the coping mechanisms. But anyway, circling back, I wanted to start a nonprofit. I wanted to help the veteran community as much as I can, and because I don't, take anything out of their pockets, I'm going to be launching the online store on my website that just got launched with, all kinds of apparel. This hat, in the back it says, helping one veteran at a time, the hoodies, t-shirts, you name it, I've got it. So the cups here, the mugs,
And what is the name of the website?
It's called vets2vets365.org.
Okay,
There's
perfect.
a
We're
name
gonna
there.
link that in the bio. What can the average citizen today do to help veterans?
Well, number one, the big thing now is veterans, civilians are saying thank you for your service. But we as veterans don't know how to respond to that.
Sure.
Bridging the gap with employers and veterans is a big uphill climb, because you get a veteran that comes to work, and I know there's veterans that work here, but with Jared having the care and concern for the veteran community and trying to understand or educating himself as the boss, the general manager here, of what veterans go to, what they experience, how can I make it better to where, because we come in with a certain mentality, we come in with a certain posture that we display, okay? Sometimes it may be intimidating, sometimes it may be, overwhelming, and we're not meaning to be. It's just that we're veterans, and one good thing about the veteran community and employers like it is we're dependable, we're loyal, we're dedicated. We come in 15 minutes early, maybe 30 minutes early. Most would, because that's if you're 15 minutes early, you're late in the veterans' eyes, right? So employers will like to hire veterans because they know what their work ethic is. But then you've got the veterans that come in and do that and make the other employees look bad, which isn't good.
Oh yeah, we have one that does that.
but what happens there is then, I can't begin to tell you, how many times I've heard veterans get into a jam with their employer because their work ethic is above and beyond, and the other employees are like, wait, you're making us look bad, and nobody wants to make you look bad. It's just the way we are. Well, you tell us what you tell, and here's the thing: you tell us what you want done, and we'll do it. Stay out of our way, type of thing. So, and I got off track what you were saying as a civilian. What can we do? I guess it's more or less understanding and appreciating why you have the freedoms that you have, that you're able to exercise on a daily basis. There's nothing more that disgusts me when you go to a sporting event and you see people that don't take off their hats, they don't stand up, they don't put their hand over their heart, they don't, none of that. There's like no respect there. And then as a veteran, you look at that and go, holy crap, I myself, I lost 22 Marines, a lot more than that, but directly with me, I lost 22 Marines. And I see something like that, and I say to myself, that's disrespect to them.
Right.
And do you even realize why you're in a position where you can do that? And I guarantee you wouldn't be able to do that in a lot of other countries.
Right.
They'll snatch you up, and it's you may disappear, type of thing. Is my point. Understand the patriotism. Show more patriotism. Thank us for our service, but show that patriotism and appreciation beyond just saying it.
You're
if
right.
that makes
Maybe
sense.
like educate yourself a little bit too.
And
Be
understand.
more genuine in the statement.
Yes, sir.
Is it a robotic, just you see it? I will take that because it's somebody at least acknowledging, but is it genuine? How it comes across, right?
No, 100%. I used to guest speak and speak at a lot of events throughout Southern California and share my story and stuff like that. And one thing that we miss as a veteran community is what do our loved ones go through when we're deployed? What do we, like, I never thought about what my wife and my girls went through when I was deployed to Iraq, woe is me, geez, I'm over there, hoping and praying to God I come home, and I'm not even thinking about what you're going through here, because I got to stay focused on what I'm doing, but then when I come home, I need to recognize what you've been through. So I think, again, it's awareness, recognition for both.
Right.
Because the spouses and families deserve as much recognition and appreciation as the veteran themselves.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It's kind of how
That
I
makes
was raised to
absolute
when you see a military vet, you appreciate their service, and then when you see the wife or the husband, say the same thing to them because it's a different turmoil.
Right? Yeah. My wife, on the back of her A4 Audi, she used to have a license plate frame. It says Sergeant Major's wife, toughest job in the Corps.
Yeah.
Because it's
I
like,
love that.
But anyway.
Well, it's cool that you recognize that, man.
Yes, sir.
That's huge for you.
I love to see how passionate you are about what you do, like the way that you're speaking right now to us. It just really does hit, truly, genuinely. So I do have a question for you. I just wanted to know what motivated you back when you were a young men to go into this.
The Marines?
Yeah.
So you're gonna laugh, but so out of high school, my mom and dad, were like, okay, if you stay home, you can live here, you're gonna pay rent, go to local community college. I had an opportunity to take a full ride scholarship to the University of Rochester, New York, because I was an all-state cross-country runner, and or join the military. Well, my dad was a Marine. He was World War II in Korea. So I spent my entire life always trying to make my mom and dad proud of me. So I just put everything aside. I went off to be a Marine, and that's why.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They gave you a couple options.
Yeah.
You went with the tough one. I love it.
And you know, I remember back in 5th grade having to do like a paper or something, or a presentation of what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I always wanted to help people. So I always wanted to be in law enforcement. So I got the best of both worlds because I went on to be a Marine. Things didn't work out for my full 20 years of active duty, but to be able to have done that as a second career and then retire successfully from both careers, I mean, I loved it, So.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. So where can people find you? So I got your website for your merchandise. Do you have like an Instagram?
So
I found you on LinkedIn.
I do have Instagram. I'm actually a social media influencer.
If it's public at all.
Yeah. On my signature line on my email that I've sent to you, you'll see at the bottom. So I have over 21,000 TikTok followers.
Wow.
And
you're on TikTok?
I am. I've been on TikTok for quite a while, and I used to do a lot of lives.
Nice.
And mine is mostly veteran platform type thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tutorial videos that I've done on there for veterans that don't know about certain things.
Yeah.
How to file a VA claim. I mean, there's veterans that, and here's the sad part, and this is reality. You have the Veterans Administration, the VA, okay, and you have veterans that go there for health care that have been going there for 10, 20, 30 years. They do not have a disability claim. No one has ever asked them that magical question, have you ever filed a disability claim? When you go to the VA, you go through and they do your triage, they take your blood pressure, your temperature, do all that stuff. And what I tried years ago was, can't they incorporate that one magical question, did you ever file a disability claim? Because there's so many that, have been going for all these years, 10, 20, 30 years, that do not have a clue about the VA claim, about bringing in extra money to the household. And, these veterans that are older that, are struggling to survive on Social Security, to have that extra benefit to come in is very instrumental in their, mental well-being as well as their physical well-being, you know what I mean?
And there's a lot of residual effects too. Like my grandpa, he also served, and he had some lung issue come up like years later that he didn't even know, but it was connected to a gas that he breathed in during combat. So it's definitely, you never know when it could pop up, or so those resources are super important.
Think about it, before you sign that blank check up into as much as your life, which is your contract to join the military, if they had a disclaimer in there that says, upon discharge, separation, or retirement, you may experience the following, and then they list all that stuff, who's going to sign up?
Right.
If you think about it. And like I said, it took me 17 years to come to the realization, because I'm like, I'm a sergeant major, I'm a Marine Corps sergeant major, I'm a badass. I don't need that stuff. It's just part of the package deal. But then as time went on, and here's the punchline. It's not about the veteran. It's about your family member. So when I'm talking to veterans and they're like, no, I'm good, Sergeant Major, I'm good. Really? Okay, so let's say Marisol is your spouse, and okay, is Marisol taken care of? When you pass away, is she taken care of?
Right.
So it's not about you now. Now it's about Marisol, or it's about your spouse, your kids, whatever, right? So it's very imperative that you document everything, because here's the catch. If you fail to document everything that's going on with you, or the VA fails to recognize what you're trying to document, and you pass away from something that is more likely than not service-connected, the spouse is not eligible for widow survivor benefits. And see, in the veteran community, you have eligibility and you have entitlement. Well, just because you served in the military makes you eligible, but are you entitled? So that's where I come in and help with the entitlement. Does that make sense? So let's say you're married to a veteran and they pass away. Okay, well now you're the spouse of that deceased veteran. You are now eligible for widow survivor benefits. Let me come in and help you become entitled. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
If I could ask you one last question from my end. If there were like the top 3 things that you could say to folks, like these are the 3 things that I wish every either veteran or a spouse of a veteran would know, what would those 3 things be?
3, get smart on what your benefits are, get smart on what your resources are that are out there, and get smart on what services are available to you. because of all the advanced technologies out there, they're internet savvy.
Sure.
So let's say, okay, you live in, was it Dow, Iowa? Is that where you're from?
Yeah.
Dow's, right? See, how did I know that? So let's just say, okay, I'm moving to Iowa. What's available to me? Veteran benefits in the state of Iowa. Boom, it pops up.
Yeah.
Each state has their own veteran, agency that oversees the state veteran benefits. But then what veterans don't know is that the counties do, the cities do, So that's like the number one thing. Get smart on what is available to you. I mean, a lot of guys that become 100% total and permanent, like I am, for example. You get tax write-off on property tax, it gets reduced. You get 1 year DMV, if you buy a car, registration might be waived or reduced. National parks, state parks, you get free, lifetime, access to those. I mean, there's so much out there. And again, it's the veteran taking the initiative to look into it. And that's the part that's right there. They don't have a sergeant major kicking them in the butt every day. Hey, get up. Hey, clean your room. Hey, do this, that. So once they get out of the military, they take off their pack, as we say, and then they get kind of complacent, and then, or they expect somebody to spoon feed them. And so one of the things that I do, that I really push when I'm doing it with the veterans, I tell them, look, I'm a retired Marine Corps Sergeant Major. You don't have to listen to a word I'm telling you. You can walk out the door and say, yes, Sergeant Major's full of what. Okay, but I'm giving you sound advice and guidance, and if you want to follow this roadmap I'm giving you, I can guarantee I can say with conviction, you're gonna have success. But do your own homework too. Don't believe what I'm telling you. Do your own homework and validate what I'm telling you. So now you're getting smarter. And here's the thing: it's called train the trainer, and that's one of the things that I did when I was in Southern California as the Southern California trainer. I did train the trainers. So let's just say Jared wants to know, hey, give me the basics about veteran benefits, resources, or whatever. And I sit down and say, okay, this is the, and within a matter of an hour, he knows how to navigate and where to go. And guess what? The next veteran that comes in to buy a car, for example, hey, so are you dialed in with the VA? And that's all he has to say. Are you dialed in with the VA? And they're going to look at him and go, are you a veteran? No, I'm just a big supporter of the veteran community. Are you dialed in with the VA? And they're going to yeah. Do you have a rating? So if he starts speaking certain things, you're going to holy cow, this guy, and guess what's going to happen? Word of mouth is going to, hey, the general manager at Audi of Arrowhead is supportive of the veteran community. As a matter of fact, here's what happened, and guess what? What's going to happen? More veterans are going to start coming in. I'm getting chills telling you that. But you know what I'm saying? So it's a matter of getting to understand how to navigate or how to, poach veterans, if that's what you want to call it, and make sure that they are real veterans. Here's a perfect example. MOS. Okay? What's your MOS? That's the first thing. When a veteran sees me, say, oh yeah, I was in the military. You'll never hear a Marine say he was in the military. Out of all the branches of service, you'll never hear a Marine say I was in the military. A Marine will always say I was in the Marines. Every other branch will say I was in the military. Okay? Test Carlton sometime. Just say, hey, so what did you do before here? I guarantee it. And if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I guarantee you can say, oh, I was in the military. Because then I caveat to, oh, what was your, what branch? Then they'll tell me, and I'll go, what was your MOS? Well, in the military community, we know, the veteran community, MOS stands for Military Occupational Specialty. So were you a truck driver? Were you a combat engineer? What did you do? But I also know that the Marine Corps and the Army are the only two that have MOSs, Military Occupational Specialties. And I also know how many numbers and how many letters they are, okay? But then, you take the Air Force and the Navy, they have job titles, but they didn't have MOSs per se, right? So then, you find, guys, veterans, people that want to act like they're veterans will say, oh yeah, I was a veteran. And then if you know what to ask them, if you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to get over on you. But if you turn, oh yeah, so was your MOS, brother or sister. And then they throw something out, and I've had that happen. So that wasn't a Marine Corps MOS. That's not an Army MOS. I don't know who you're kidding. Well, yeah, because they have stolen valor, which is very rampant out there right now. Very rampant. Getting smart.
We're gonna call you next time.
Yeah, no, seriously.
No, but
Seriously.
for real. So, I mean, to assist, because, so that's another thing you talked about, people don't know some of their benefits. Mm-hmm. And you also said that as human beings, we're pretty prideful folks.
Right.
And most people don't wanna ask for help.
Right.
But if there is extra funds, a lot of people don't come in
Mhm.
saying it, so if we're asking, if they are, like, they're not gonna, a lot of times folks aren't going to ask for that,
No, they won't,
that
no.
savings, but if we can find out in our conversations that they're military veterans, we can pull that information and not just give it to them instead of asking.
Well, and I don't know what the marketing side looks like with Audi Nation, Auto Nation out of Arrowhead, but even it'd be nice to see Auto Nation, all the Auto Nations put out, you know, honorary military discounts or you know, deals or something along the line where, oh, hey, I'm military, I want to see what they can do for me type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
So one of the things that AutoNation does do, I just went through their General Manager University, GMU in Florida, and when I was down there, they just launched the PACE program for hiring military veterans.
Yeah.
So that AutoNation actually has a program focused on
Okay,
on
good.
providing jobs for military veterans. So that's pretty
Good,
cool.
that's fantastic. And here's the other thing too. So you decide, okay, I want to hire James. Okay. I want to put him through this training, but it's going to cost X, Y, and Z, you know, whatever. Let's put it this way. There's educational benefits that are out there for disabled veterans to where they can get their certifications, they can get whatever they need in order to be successful in that job that they're at.
Sure.
So like, let's say, okay, so there's programs out there like, helmets to hard hats, that's what it's called. It's called helmets to hard hats. So you're coming out of the military, helmets to hard hats, you become a hard hat worker, right? Somebody who's working on those big wind turbines,
Yeah.
right? For example, that's one of those, right?
Yeah.
So the way the program's set up is, you know, they'll provide what they need to the veteran, but they're going to bill the VA because the VA will provide the veteran with, like when they go to college. Hey, I need a laptop. The VA pays for the laptop. You know, it's getting, you need to know what to ask for. For example, there's a clothing allowance every year that veterans don't know about. There's a clothing allowance that veterans don't know about that. The being provided all the equipment or all the stuff that you need for training, for employment that you're pursuing to get, you know, successfully hired or to get through the training, they don't know about that. So there's just a whole bunch, man.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch. Yeah.
Like all the stuff that you've just rattled off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's if one person watches this or a million people watch it, like
Yeah.
they're just sharing that advice can change the course of somebody's trajectory for sure. Yeah.
And guess what? It's a win-win because the veteran got the certification, and now he's more of an asset to the employer.
Company, yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's good to hear, and we're very, especially in the shops, we have a couple military
Right.
guys like that.
Right.
But we're very heavy on when techs come in, that we get them through Audi's training. And
Yeah.
whenever they open up, they're going to the
Yeah.
classes because it's beneficial to all of us. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's cool,
Okay.
beautiful. Anything else you want to add,
No.
Ms. Marcel?
Yeah.
Ms. Lacey?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
It
it.
was a pleasure.
All right.
meeting you guys.
Pleasure meeting you as
No,
well.
yeah, no,
Always,
appreciate
brother.
your service, my
Always.
friend.
Pleasure
Thank you.
meeting you.
Much good.